To sew the handles, the first thing we need to do is apply the interfacing. So we're going to apply the interfacing with the rough side down to the wrong side of our handles. We're going to iron that down. And we're going to do that all the way down both of our handles. With the interfacing applied, we're going to fold our handles in half along the long length of the handle, and we're going to pin that. We're going to do that the whole length of the handle. And we're going to pin that in half for both of the handles. To stitch the handles, we're going to stitch along the long edge of the handle. We're going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, so lining up the edge of the fabric with the edge of the presser foot. We use a regular stitch length, and we're going to back stitch. And then we're going to sew all the way down the long end, the long side of the handle. When we get to the end, we're going to back stitch. And then we're going to sew the other handle the same way. To turn the handle right side out, we're going to take a safety pin and poke it through the end of the handle and close that. I like to take a piece of tape and wrap it around the safety pin just to ensure that it doesn't open while I'm trying to turn the handle right side out. Okay. Now we're going to take that safety pin and we're going to push it down into the handle, and we're going to turn the end of the handle into the inside. Okay. Then I'm going to grab that safety pin and I'm going to push up on the fabric and then pull it to turn it to the inside. And we're just going to keep repeating that process until we have the handle turned right side out. pulling the fabric to the inside. And then once the safety pin comes through, then you can pull on the actual right side of the fabric to help with that. And once you get it turned completely right side out, you can take the tape off and take the safety pin out. With it turned right side out, you need to iron the handle so that it's nice and flat. I like to start by ironing the seam flat, so I'm going to turn it so that I can see the seam, and I'm going to iron the seam flat. And I'm going to do that all the way down the handle. Once I've got the seam ironed flat, then I'm going to turn the handle so that the seam becomes the fold. And then I'm going to iron that flat. You want to make sure that you're getting that seam ironed flat so that your handle is the same width throughout the handle. If you don't have that seam ironed flat, then you can get a handle that's not the same size. We also want that seam on the side so that we don't see it from either the top or the bottom of the handle. And I'm just going to flip the handle over and iron the other side just to make sure that it's good and flat. Nice and smooth. Once you get that ironed, you'll repeat the same thing and iron the other handle in the same way as you did this handle. With the handles pressed, we're going to edge stitch along the long edges of the handle to top stitch to keep the handles from rolling when we use them. So we're going to back stitch, and then we're going to stitch down the long edge of the handles, staying as close to the edge as we can. When we get to the edge, we're going to back stitch. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side of the handle. We're going to back stitch. And we're going to edge stitch. Top stitching as close as we can. When we get to the end, we'll back stitch. To attach the handles, we're going to fold the handle in half, and we're going to match up the raw edges of the handle and the top of the tote bag. As you lay the handle on, you want to make sure that you have it so that it's flat, so that it's not twisted when you apply the handles. So we want to fold our bag in half, and we want to measure 4 inches from the edge to the edge of the handle, and we're going to pin that in place. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. We're going to measure 4 inches from the side and pin the handle. When you finish pinning that handle, we're going to turn the bag over, and we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So we're going to place our handles down, matching up the raw edges with the raw edge of the top of the bag. We're going to measure 4 inches from the edge of the bag, and we're going to pin that handle in place. And then we're going to do that for the other side. We're going to attach the handles to the bag with a basting stitch to hold them in place. So we're going to just start over past the handle in the bag, we're going to run a basting stitch at 1/2 inch. Means we're not going to back stitch. Basting stitch is the longest stitch length. Okay. So across, then we get to the other side. We'll sew past it. We'll take that off. We'll move to the next handle. Again, we'll do a basting stitch at 1/2 inch. So past the handle. Do not back stitch. We're going to do that for all 4 of them. So flip the bag over and stitch the other handles, making sure that the edge of the handle is lined up with the top edge of the bag.